Welcome to the Worthy Revolution, a community of inspired, heart-focused, faith-founded, community-centered, success-minded women impacting the world through their mission, their business, and their stories. Hi, I'm Mimika Cooney and welcome to Worthy TV, the home of the Worthy Revolution where women are impacting the world. Today, we are going to be talking about how to go from bankruptcy to boss. Heather Ann Havenwood is a serial entrepreneur and is regarded as a top authority on internet marketing and business strategies. Heather Ann has played an active role in the online marketing world since before most people had a home computer. She marketed her first online business in '99, bringing together clients and personal coaches. In 2006, she started, developed, and grew an online info marketing publishing company from zero to over $1 million in sales in less than 12 months. Heather Ann is smart, sexy, savvy, and now stepping out from behind the curtain to educate, enlighten, and empower women entrepreneurs to grow or start an online business and live a fearless and fulfilled life. So welcome, Heather Ann. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. You know, I think it's interesting when people read bios. I don't know about you, but I get all like weirded out.
You're like, oh, who's she talking about? That's not me, right?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but yeah. So thank you for that. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here and know you for a while now, and just thank you for doing this. This is going to be a lot of fun. So
exactly. Well, I'm super excited because I know there's a lot of women out there who are in the same position, who are just super passionate and excited about being entrepreneurs, being their own bosses, but we have a few obstacles we want to overcome. And one thing we definitely want to do is help them to really realize their potential. And you have got a great story which really shows us that you can go from bankruptcy to being your own girl boss. So let's go ahead and give us a little bit of an intro about your background.
Sure, absolutely. So I've been in the online space pretty much since '99 as a full-time online marketer since 2005, 2006, but really in the direct response marketing business since 2001. So I've been around for a while in what I call online marketing, teaching people how to do coaching, consulting, all that good stuff. So I've been around for a long time, but I got my start like a lot of people, which I went to college, was like a good little girl, and then got into corporate America, and I made the company a lot of money in sales, business to business sales. And I think a lot of women are very good at that, doing business sales. And so I had this viewpoint that if I make the company a lot of money, right, then they'll keep me around and give me a part of that. And then I get to be happy and they get to be happy. And like, that's it. Right. And I did that. And the day after I got my award, and congratulations, you're top in the class, or what they call the top 1%. I was beating people in LA, New York. I was living in Fort Worth, Texas. So I was considered in a small market, but I was beating people in big markets. And so after I got my award, I got fired from a female boss.
Wow.
And it really, you talk about a spin of my head, it really threw me because a couple reasons. One, I was making them money. Why would they fire me? Number two, my boss was a female, and I thought there was like a bond there because it's like female to female in a very male dominated and corporate environment. And I got really confused because everything I thought about life was just toppled,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the start, really. If I had to look at that, was the turning point of me looking at entrepreneurship, mainly because I built a book of business and overnight someone took it away from me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to have that happen again. I think people can relate to that. We women are builders. We build. We create, we build, we push, we do all these things. And then for me, it was taken away in a second. And I was told I didn't deserve it. And that was really hard for me. So that's kind of where I'm at today, why I got into what I call the entrepreneur train. I find, from my vision, is that entrepreneurship found me. I didn't really go after it. Makes sense?
Yeah.
It was more out of like, oh my God, because here's what happened. So after that, I really got stunted because everyone's like, oh, just go get another job. I'm like, but that's going to happen again. I go sell somebody else. It's going to happen again and again and again. I don't want that to happen. So what do I do? And so again, here we are, the entrepreneur. And that was back in 98, 99. So it's been a while, right?
So it's really about like the lack of freedom, right? So you're kind of frustrated that you don't want someone else making the choices for you, deciding, what it is your future holds.
Yes, it's totally about freedom. But I think also it's about building something and then having someone take it away for no reason, right? And so that was the big one for me. Freedom, I think, is one of the key values of entrepreneurship. And that if you don't thrive on freedom or love freedom, you're not going to have a good time here, because you're constantly making all the decisions and you're fully responsible. And there's freedom in that. And there's full responsibility for that. So I find that true entrepreneurs, they thrive on freedom. They really thrive on knowing they're the ones making all the decisions, even though they know they're the one making all the decisions, right? So
even though we have the responsibility, it's like we know when we have that control. Like I know most entrepreneurs I know are control freaks, me included. I do not like someone else dictating my schedule or how I'm going to do things or where the success path leads. So tell us a little bit about the whole bankruptcy story. Now, how did that happen? Was that post job?
Yeah, so that was a couple of years later. I started traveling the country doing events and seminars where I was basically, imagine 50 weeks out of the year in a suitcase, going to city by city by city. Started working with a seminar company as an independent consultant, 1099. And I started traveling for them, learning and teaching people how to buy and sell real estate, but I was learning the art of sales. And so what happened is I had a gentleman come to me and go, hey, you're building all this for this other company. Why don't you come build that for me? So we went to partnership and, 50-50 business partnership. And he had the knowledge of how to buy and sell houses, right? And I had the know-how of how to market that. And I want you to get the difference. It's because you know how to do something, let's just say buy and sell houses, because it's the example. And then I knew marketing online. And so I basically said, okay, let's do this. We went from $0 to $1 million in 1 year, mainly on affiliate marketing and pushing out. We created a product, created a seminar, and went really fast. And everything was going great. Then I came home one day from a seminar. It was actually a marketing seminar, Matt Basak marketing seminar in Atlanta. And I came back from that weekend and the bank accounts had been emptied out. Everything had been moved over into his stuff. I got locked out on everything, on the merchant accounts, everything, the sites, and I was completely, it was taken away from me again. And so my house went into foreclosure within a week or two because I couldn't pay the mortgage, and then then I had to file personal and business bankruptcy. I was wiped out.
Wow, and that's gonna make you angry.
Oh yeah, been through therapy. So I've definitely been through my personal development therapy around that one. But honestly, it was a couple things going on with that. Is one, part of that I was responsible for. There was a lack of communication. Right. And he also thought that, oh, well, she built this. Thank you so much. And then I can take it from here. What I find now, I'm generalizing. What I find is that women are these amazing supporters, and we push people up the hill. It could be our kids, push them to greatness. It could be our husbands. It could be whoever. We're amazing, these amazing supporters, and then we don't really take value in what we do because we don't really own it. And so what happens is things like this happen. That's how I see it. We don't know our worth, right? And then we wonder why people take things and whatever. I mean, it was a worthy conversation for me. And so at that moment, then I really decided if I'm going to build something again, I may or may not, but if I build something again, it's going to be all me. I'm not going to build somebody else up again. And I do have a few companies where I'm the marketing arm, but at the same time, I still own it, and I know my worth around it. So that's what kind of brings me up to this day. But honestly, I'll be honest. After the bankruptcy, it's not like I just hopped back up. I wasn't like, well, I'll just brush that off. For me, it was my tragedy. It was one of these things. It was a huge blow to the ego because for me, I had this conversation in my head. Well, I'm smart. I'm savvy. Being bankrupt, that'll never happen to me. I'm smarter than that. And so here it is in the flesh, in reality, and something I had to really deal with. And I had to move through. It's not about being smart. It's about being real. It's about being aware and being fully responsible for all areas, So that's kind of what happened. And then I did definitely go back to corporate America. I did. I tried it for full 90 days. It was like, we're so proud of you. You lasted 90 days. I'm like, oh my God. But here was the kicker for me. I mean, sometimes it's kind of like an old boyfriend. You miss him, you miss him, you miss him. And then you go back, you're like, God, I really missed you. And then like, you're here. Like, no.
No, this is so wrong.
It's just so wrong. You were just so much better in my dreams. So that's kind of what I did. I went back to sales in corporate America for 90 days. And I remember my boss, a boss's boss, they brought me into the office and they had this like, we like you. Like we do. We like you. And like, you got to stay in your lane. You know, you got a lane. You got this little lane, you know, you got to stay in the lane. And I'm like, but I don't want to stay in the lane. Like, we know. So I think you'd be better off, like, going back to being an entrepreneur. I'm like, okay. And we shook hands like that, and I laughed, right? So that was kind of how I did it. And that was the moment I realized, and I think you have had this moment too. You realize who you are as an entrepreneur.
And you realize you find your identity. And I think that's a great lesson to be learned, that, you know, even though there are different paths to take and different models, or what I would call boxes that people want to put you in, you know for yourself what makes you tick and what you're good at, and finding your own self-worth and deciding, you know, I know I'm worth it, and this is why I'm going to be able to do what I'm going to do. So it makes all the risk and all the hard nights and the long hours worth it when you know you're working for your own business. So tell me about that point. So you realize, okay, you don't do corporate. You know you want to do your own thing. What was the first thing you did to kind of like take your step? Because I think a lot of us, when we get stuck, where we start having these conversations in our head, oh, well, I don't know who you're thinking you are, right? What was that conversation that eventually got you sort of kicking yourself in the pants to get yourself moving forward?
Well, I definitely have some mentors. I can't really say it was all me, because I think the worst place we could be is in our own brain, right? In our own head. It's the worst place you can be. The best thing is to get in what I call in communication with a mentor, or someone that's not your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad, someone who really believes in who you are. And I mean that lovingly, because I think our siblings or our, you know, parents or friends we've known since high school, whatever, they have a particular view of you, and like that's it. And someone who's third party, who's just strictly loves you for who you are and wants to do the best, it's better to have that conversation. So I definitely went into a conversation with a mentor of mine, and he reminded me of some things that he said, which is, you know, does this feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? And I got back to that question in my life of like, what does feed my confusion? What does strengthen my clarity? And so I started the business of datingtriggers.com, which is teaching men how to date women. And the reason I did that is because I have all this skill set of marketing and sales and copywriting. And I wanted to go into a niche that I was using that skill set without ever being questioned about my credibility. Okay. And no one could question me on teaching men about women because I'm a woman. Like there you go. So, so I wanted to go there first, and I did. I built up the business at that point. It's only years later, was almost 7 or 8 years later, am I just now coming out and going, hey, by the way, now I own a supplement company, a dating business, a weight loss company. Oh, by the way, I also do coaching consulting. It's more like I first did the businesses, then I started helping other people, versus the other way. Some people help other people, they don't have anything else. Yeah. You know, all they do. And I get that model. It's just not, I don't like that model. So for me, I wanted to create other businesses, and now I go out and help people and go, hey, this is what I did. Here's all my experiences of these other businesses and where I failed too, like things I did wrong, and how you have to have a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You need to make sure that someone reads the contract. So yeah. So that is awesome. So you've been able to go from ground zero to building yourself up and going through the processes. What would you say, like, if we had to look over your story, what would be a great takeaway tip for the ladies listening today?
It really is that question. Does this feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? And I started to put that question to everything I did. I'm financially done. I had no credit. Everything I did was cash. The only bills I had was my insurance of my car, because my car was paid off, and my cell phone. Like I didn't, and I had to start really building myself back up, meaning not only my mindset, but my confidence. So this particular question started to help me get clear, because when you're spinning, and you're emotionally spinning, there's no clarity. When there's no clarity, there's no power, right? And power is action. So when you get clear on something, you start to have power. When you have power, you have action. When you have action, you have results. right? Versus just spinning, there's no action, there's no results, there's no power. So this question for anyone can take in any area of their life and go, does this feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? You can put that to boyfriends.
Yeah.
You can put that to, am I eat that chocolate cake? I mean, you can put to anything, doing this podcast. Should I start a podcast? Should I not start a podcast? Whatever. Like, does it feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? And then the moment, especially when women were so intuitive, we're going to know yes or no. Ask the question, yes or no. So you'll get that intuitive hit. And it's a great question to put to everything.
Definitely. Well, that's some awesome advice. In this week's goodie giveaway, Heather Ann has kindly donated an audiobook version of her book called Sexy Boss, worth $20. And for one lucky viewer, if you want to be in it to win it, you got to enter our raffle copter giveaway. It's only going to be up for 7 days from when this interview goes live. So make sure you go and follow the instructions, like, share, post, tweet. Give yourself opportunities to enter, and we will pick a lucky winner who will actually be able to walk away with that audiobook. So tell us a little bit more about that, Heather.
So my book, Sexy Boss, I spent the time. It was very challenging for me to actually do the audiobook. Now, you might think, well, what's so great about that? It's actually me speaking. And when I did this project, the producer was like, I highly suggest you not to do this. And now I know why, because it's the most challenging thing ever on the planet to do your own, well, not only your own work, but also your own story, and to do your audiobook. And if you listen to like Tony Robbins has audiobooks out there, but he never actually does his book. He never actually says his book one line by one line ever. It's he hires a voiceover professional, which I probably should have done, and he actually does every single word of the book. And then Tony has like an insert, like chapter 1, and he'll just go on his rant. Blah, 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 right? And so you get Tony, and then you get the book, and you get Tony. So that's how I should have done it, but I didn't do that. So it's me speaking on my book, and it's actually really good. I'm very proud of that work, and it's a treat. So I'm not sure if I would do it again. So
well, there you go. And it's definitely going to be a great read or a listen. And I personally love to listen to books because I can do them wherever, whether I'm running or doing the dishes or in the carpool line. It's definitely something. So go ahead and enter a raffle copter giveaway. So just to one thing, Heather Ann has shared some fabulous content, and just to let you know, she is also going to be sharing in one of our expert masterclasses within the Worthy Revolution membership site. So make sure to stay tuned for news of that. You'll be on our list. Go to worthyrevolution.com and join our email list. We will be sending out that information to all our members soon as we do the enrollment period. But before we go, let's just wrap it up with a few things. So if you like today's video, click to share it with your friends. I'm sure you know somebody else who has to hear what Heather Ann had to say, especially about her story. It's really inspiring, and I know you know someone who needs to hear that too. And if you want more freebie resources that we only share with our newsletter community, go to worthyrevolution.com, and we also will give you the opportunity to join our private Facebook group where a lot of the juicy conversations happen. And this is for women entrepreneurs, especially to help you, provide you with the support that you need on your life's journey toward building the business of your dreams. And we love your feedback. Share your comments below the video. Tell us your takeaway tip. What did you love about hearing about Heather Ann's story, and what it is that you're going to be moving forward with inspiration for your journey. So until next time, everyone, remember to believe that you are worth it. You can do what you love and be paid for living your dreams. So thanks, Heather Ann, for joining me on Worthy TV. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Until next time, take care.